Hello everyone, my name's John and I'm giving a plug, this is my second video for Against Darkness, and I've noticed a few people have commented over the insanity that I've got to, where I got to adventure number 60. Well, I've actually now gotten to, I'm playing the Abyss now, and I'm actually up to, I'm not sure if it's going to focus in there nicely, but I'm up to adventure 91 now. Yes. Churning through them. But what I have done is that I sort of set myself a goal with how I've decided to play the game initially. And I went, well, I'll play 40 adventures, playing the first book, which is obviously the core, which is the For Against Darkness, which is essentially, I suppose, what, characters 1 to 3? 1 to 3? Oh, God, I've forgotten now. And here I am, person who plays the game, and I can't even remember how to play it. But, oh, look, this game is so much fun. And for myself as a, honestly, as a pensioner, it fills in my time, and for that I am incredibly thankful. It's simple, and I suppose, look, to be honest, on some level, it really does annoy me when a lot of the fans go, look, can we add this? Can we add this? Can we add this? And suddenly what starts off as a really good, simple game becomes, may not become a nightmare, but it does become I suppose, a beast of its own. I am myself very happy with the system, with the way that it is, because it meets all my needs. So, but anyway, going on. So my first 40 adventures were from essentially just the For Against Darkness. Then I went, all right, well, the next 40 I had were for using fiendish foes. So once I got to adventure number 80, which I think is here. Let me have a look. Where's adventure number 80? So there we go. There's adventure number 80. So we got up to adventure number 80. So once I finished adventure number 80, it was then time to go onto For Against the Abyss. So that was, for me, where I am at the moment. And I'm up to adventure number 91. I think that's what I said. Yeah, adventure number 91. So I have to thank very much Andre, or Andrea, however it's pronounced. So I do apologise if I've butchered your first name. I apologise. I'm pretty sure one of them is the correct way to pronounce it. But look, thank you very much, and obviously thank you Ganesha Games for producing it. And look, thank you very much for making the game affordable, because myself as a pensioner, it's difficult trying to find games now. Oh, okay, I can't speak. Everyone says, but look what you've got behind me. Well, yes, but then I've been collecting for over 40 years. So my collection goes back to when I was employed. I had a good job, and I spent horrendous amounts of money on my hobby. But now, obviously, as a pensioner, I no longer have that capacity. So the fact that I can, I'm really happy with the fact that I can get For Against Darkness as a PDF download. It's marvellous. You know, it's only, what, $3 or $4 or whatever, I can't remember. And even with the horrendous Australian dollar, because, hey, I live at the arse end of the world, where everybody decides that because we live on a lost continent, that all our prices are inflated. Yeah, we get ripped off down here, something terrible. Our cost of living. Might be a nice place to come visit if your exchange rate is really good, because you can generally have a good time. But for the natives here, well, actually I can't call myself a native, but for the people who live here, it's horrible. It really is. But hey, look, I'm digressing yet again. Yes, look, I'm an old man. I can waffle. I can carry on forever. But I really do enjoy this game. Now, a number of people have asked some questions, sometimes with what I've done, and as I've said, we've got a company here in Australia. I suppose it's like the 100 yen shop, but or a dollar shop. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's not really a dollar shop, but it's like the 100 yen shop in Japan or that. But we've got a company called Daiso, and they've produced these little A5 folders. And what I've done is that with my printer, I've gone through one of those PDF freeware, I suppose they are. I think Soda or Fox something or other. I think either one of those two ones I think I'm using. But you can print booklet fashion. And what it does is that with an A4 piece of paper, I just print, and it double side prints for me, which just makes it magnificent. It means I'm only using half the paper that I would have previously, had to print twice as much paper and made this a thicker booklet. But that's essentially what I've done, and thankfully the company has produced some very nice. And here I am. I thought I was prepared, but they produce these little packets to go with their books. So they're not as generous, I suppose. There's only 30 of these in the packet, where normally a lot of the other places, I don't know, you could probably go through Officeworks or sorry, I'm talking about Australia now. So as to what America or the UK or Europe has, I suppose you've got your own particular companies that deal, but I'm fairly sure you can probably do a better deal through specific office suppliers. But again, for $2.80 Australian for 30, it's relatively cheap to a degree. I suppose it is, but that's what I use. So I print all mine. It still works out, although once again, I sometimes wonder whether or not it is or isn't. But again, the problem is getting them printed, say even through Lulu or somebody else, and then having it shipped here to Australia. It's still, you sometimes think, well, what's the point? So, but I print at home. It's not that ultimately expensive, I suppose, as long as Andrea keeps the booklets, I suppose, to a reasonable number of pages. But no, that's what I do. And of course, I've got this. I use these. They're available from, well, for me anyway. They're available from any newsagent is where I go and get mine, or school office supplies. I just use the 10. I think they're a 10 mil. Oh no, this is 5 mil. Sorry, they're a 5 mil. A 5 mil square. What do I mean hex? Square grid. And then I just have also, from my days when I used to work in certain departments, I've got this. Well, that's not very good, is it? But one of these ones with the circles, and there's one there that's very nice that makes it really easy to do those. Oh, no, focusing in and out. That helps with those rooms that are circular. So thank heavens for that. But it's good. This is a fun game. So that's what I do. So I use a propeller pencil, and then I just use an old 4B to squiggle around the outside to give my stuff an aesthetic look. I keep all my my past adventures all in here, and there's another. I can't find it here at the moment. It's buried. I had a club day yesterday, so I had to move everything around, and so I had to take stuff to the club, and everything's everywhere. But ignore me. So yeah, because I go through. I play an adventure. The characters die, and they may die fairly well advanced through the dungeon. So I'll still fill out the dungeon as though the characters were still alive, just to, I suppose for completeness in some degrees, play through until I can find the final boss in some cases. Or, I'll play, I'll decide that I might retire a character at 5th level. Like when I was playing the first 40 adventures, I decided that, when the characters reached level 4 or level 5, they'd get retired out and I'd start a new lot because I was saving for the Abyss. So the same thing happened when obviously I got to using the Fiendish Foes. So what I'm hoping at this stage is, like, I've been looking at the books, and I'm hoping that we can see eventually say a die 66 chart for random monsters. Now at the moment, from the scenario booklets or the standalone little dungeons, we have some new monsters, and they've sort of given us about half. Some of them, like the ones that are specific for water, well, obviously you can't have them just in a dungeon, although some of the creatures, I suppose you could sort of say, oh, okay, well, an octopus could, but in reality you're thinking, well, that's a bit odd. But anyway, that's what I'm hoping for eventually, is that there'll be enough generated creatures that we can get a die 66 table, which would be really, really, really handy, just to give that variety, because well, once again, I'm somebody who's played so many, so this may not be the case for somebody who's only played a few and may not play any more than maybe a dozen or so adventures. But for myself, who's played nearly 100 adventures now, it's like, oh, shrieking fungi, okay, yep, be nice for something different, but I'm not complaining because I'm happy. It's filling in my time, and I thank, once again, I thank the developer, and I thank the company for providing a wonderful thing. So there we go. Anybody got any questions? Not that I'm particularly good on the rules. I'm still, even now after 90 adventures, going, oh God, I've been playing that wrong from the very beginning, and I'm going, oh well, look, it's a game. It's a game, and I'm not really worried, because in the end, was I having fun playing the game? And that's really all that you should be concentrating on. If you get a rule wrong, is it that critical? Okay, it might be if you're playing a multiplayer game, but if you're playing a game solo, which is what this game is it really that critical? Did you have fun? And that's really all I'm looking at these days, is entertainment and fun. It's got to be good. It's got to keep me entertained. And this game's keeping me entertained. And I thank, like I'm playing, I suppose, maybe 3 or 4 adventures a day. I'm sitting here and I've got Netflix on. I'm watching, listening to Grimm. I'm currently cycling through Grimm at the moment. So that's... that's going on in the background, so I'm enjoying that, and I'm enjoying this. And what can you do? I'm just sitting here waiting for the Reaper to come collect me. So it's not much else to do with life, is there? It's a problem. You get old, you outlive your friends. The gaming community these days is young people, and young people don't. They say they're inclusive and everything, but they're not. They're not really kind to older people. They're not, which is sad, which is why solo games, I think, these days are starting to become more and more popular, because there are people like myself who are looking for games that they can play at home because the community rejects them or they don't have time for them. And this is not always the case, but, because I do have a club to go to, but, I'm lucky if I get two meets a year. But hey, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be bringing this into this particular production. You can go have a look at my YouTube channel. I think there's somewhere in there where I've made some rambles about that, or on my blog site. I think I've probably done so. But anyway, thank you everybody for tolerating my ramble. If you haven't gone and bought 4 Against Darkness, go do so. It's a bloody good game. Yes, I'm an Australian. Well, I am. Yes, all right. I'm an Australian. I live here now, so it's a good place, and the game, brilliant. Go buy it, enjoy it, play it the way you want to play it. Play it to have fun. Don't pick the game to pieces. Don't do silly things. Just play it for what it is, to the way that you want to play it. So anyway, thank you everyone. Till next time, the Honourable John.